Thank you all once again and hearty welcome to this evening over here. Thank you for joining us for the concept presentation of Rhythm of the Hills. I must say it's with great pride I'd love to introduce you to our MD, founder of NSR Estates, N. Srinivas Reddy Garu. I asked one of our investors how you would describe Srini sir, and he had these words for him: a friend, philosopher, and a guide. Somebody who's very, very unassuming, but at the same time comes with a great skill and knowledge about real estate. So, friends, without much ado, I give over the floor to our MD Garu, Srinivas Reddy Garu, universally known as Srini sir. Over to Srini sir.
Thank you, Bhavani. Namaste, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to Rhythm of the Hills, our prestigious project that we can't wait to share with you. Today, we bring to you yet another inspiring concept that reimagines the norms of gated communities. Located in the lap of Anantagiri Hills in Vikarabad, the site not only enjoys a unique location advantage, but also has an inspiring natural terrain. Vikarabad, popularly known as Telangana's Ooty because of its pleasant climate, is a leisure destination for the state and has been identified as a satellite town of Hyderabad city. With all the necessary infrastructure and a newly proposed outer ring road for the town, it is really the place to watch out for. The connectivity to Gachibowli and Hyderabad outer ring road is another key advantage. NSR Estates is a team of passionate professionals with years of experience in various aspects of real estate development. In our endeavor to create quality living environments, we present to you Rhythm of the Hills, a The design is being developed by architect Ravi Kumangaru, who also designed our high-rise apartment project called In the Woods, which has received great response for its unique design and concept. Ravi Garu will present the concept now, after which we will announce the commercials. I hope you all enjoy the presentation and are as inspired as we are by the end of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Srini Garu. Dear friends, I now take upon this opportunity to introduce you to the main speaker of this evening, our chief architect, Ravi Kumbam Garu. Ravi sir comes with an extensive experience in architecture of over 20 years. He's been a key figure for many celebrities in and out of Hyderabad who've helped, and he's helped them extensively in building their dream farm homes. Needless to say, he's spearheaded yet another key project in the woods, and he's given an outstanding product to all the end users. Again, without much ado, I hand over the floor to Ravi Kumbam Garu. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Bhavani, and Srini Garu for giving me this opportunity. So, I'm myself Ravi Kumbam, architect. I'm into this practice for the last 20 years. I think this particular project, for few probably this is repetitive, but not to disappoint, it is the updated version of it. And for the new ones, it's like clearly a out-of-box thinking process. I think Srini Garu, can you please share the screen so that I can start with this?
1 minute.
Yeah. Yeah. So when Srini Garu offered this project to us to come up with a unique design, and in the period where it is very abnormal in a different manner. So till then, we were being in a thinking process of creating some self-sustained housing kind of thing. But with the current context, we now ourselves got into a different concept where I would call it as a self-sustained lifestyle. So next slide. So in this particular project where we are trying to create a different kind of lifestyle itself. So I would rather say that this is a kind of lifestyle what was there few decades back. Like every village, every small town or city, whatever you take. So all these things are being, they are all like self-sustained system. So they are not dependent on the outside product or anything else. So for their food requirement, if you say for their learning curve or for the work, for the play, the celebration, everything used to happen within the community. That means the dependency has been so much increased in the kind of lifestyle what is totally taken as far beyond the point. So I started thinking about it, how it was there. So I wanted to tell you it like a story, like once upon a time how it happened, and now what is the current context, and how I'm trying to connect a bridge, like having the sustainable lifestyle from the past and taking the advantage of technology and the modern context, and I'm trying to connect with a bridge for it. So in those days, people used to have their homes, their settlements next to some forest kind of thing. There is lush greenery around, and pure water, and pollution-free environment, and their working fields, whether you say farming or any craft or any livelihood was within their village, or if you take it a bigger thing also. And their food requirements used to be then and there itself. So we have started studying what exactly was there then there in that. And so when it comes to the house, the next slide. So the house part, next slide. Yeah. So the all the houses were very practical. I would like to say they're very much very near to the local context and to the local climate. They're practical houses, I would rather say. And their activity used to run around, especially in the Deccan Plateau or the South Indian, if you take it. So all the life, their day-to-day activity was running around a courtyard. So this courtyard used to play a major role in our day-to-day activity from morning to the night. And from there, again, the materials what were being used, they doesn't carry a longer carbon footprint, carrying some the other materials from some other areas or something else. So they used to use the material which is locally available. Like if you take good soil, if it is available, then we used to find them with brick and rammed earth walls, or if stone is abundantly available, then they used to build with the stone masonry, or if it is laterite, or in the same manner. So the roof and everything, and it was also encouraging them not to there is no requirement for air conditioning or something. The house was so comfortable because of the material what we used. And so the material context you take, the design context you take, it was so practical. It was consuming very less amount of energy into it, and giving a maximum output of it. And I would also say that it is practical. So this is the house we really got inspired from the old houses what we have seen. And the photographs what I'm trying to show is there are some of the houses what we designed in our last few years back. So this is a kind of housing we really thought of. And then when it comes to the food, next slide. Yeah, the food used to be like it is all again it is to the local context, because that is really healthy. And now we are listening like the Indian food, the traditional the spices you call it, or the things which really gives you the strength and everything, and it is healthy at the same time. So this food used to come from their the backyard, or you call it as the front yard, which we are also in the modern terminology we are calling it as a permaculture. And also every farm used to have all kinds of food they usually consume around the year. So when I was talking to the elderly people and taking the feedback, how the food system was really sustainable in those days. So in those farms, for their requirement, they used to grow because it was not a commercial crop. Sell it and take the money. So the farming was not in the commercial terms. The farming used to feed you. So it was a part of the lifestyle rather than a commercial product. So depending on the family size and their requirement and their kind of food they used to have, so they used to grow the millets their requirement. Rice, everything also comes under the millet. So the amount of vegetables, the onions, if you take the spices, the pulses, and everything. So depending on their 1 year requirement, so for their consumption, they used to grow all the food what they used to consume, and they used to have their own poultry, and poultry in the other way that used to support the system, and they used to have the cows, and the cow milk and the other products they're being used as the manure and other things. So depending on that, so we already calculated what really required: the fruits, the pulses, the poultry, the dairy, and the millets and everything. The food of one house usually used to come from their farm, and most of their vegetables and other things they used to come from their backyard, which are really the real farmers. So that really made them to be healthy. Yeah. Then next slide. If you go to the work, so in the work system also, it was like it is supporting the farmer and supporting the lifestyle of the total community. Like somebody was working as a carpenter to make the tools, the plow and everything for the farmer, or for building a house, or if you take the pottery, they used to make the vessels, the pots and everything that are consumed at their work or at home. So every system, it is a supportive system, and the farmer used to share his grown food to the others. So it was not like the farmer is taking as a price based or something else, but it was a cooperative system from which they used to do that. And the cultivation used to have to the local climate itself. So the local climate used to give them the local food, which is really good for that particular area. So that is how they used to grow the food, and their craft system, the tradition, everything was interdependent on it. Then the supportive system, the next slide, the pottery and the viewer, the sculpture, the art form, the tradition, everything. So I'm trying to show you with some working stills of some those things. And if you go to the listen play, next slide. Yeah, in the place also, like they used to have a large amount of time to really spend in a community, and they used to play, they used to celebrate the festivals, you call them as, for every season. So for every context there was something to celebrate, and the play, everything was like a village system was so much sustainable. It is not like the entertainment system is not at all missing from their real context. So after studying all this, then I started thinking about how a self-sustainable lifestyle should be. So the main aim of mine, like the design process, the way I started, is to link these two, taking the best out of our past, say, which was there around 4 decades back or 5 decades back, the best of it, and connecting to the latest context, the our present lifestyle and everything. So we started thinking why we are thinking of a house which is on the outskirts or little far away from the main dense areas. So why it should be like a weekend home? So then we started. Why didn't we develop a self-sustainable lifestyle instead of a self-sustainable housing? I wanted to develop a self-sustainable lifestyle itself, so that I can comfortably live there. I have everything there, so I need not look out for majority of the things. So the process we started like that. So then if you study the site, the site is if you see that the next slide. So it is near Vikarabad town, and at the same time next to the urban forestry. So which was exactly matching to my dream village, which was there in the first slide I took. So the village was next to a dense lush green. So here also have nice greenery, the urban forestry next to it, and the altitude is almost like 650 meters from mean sea level. So it has a nice climate like Anantagiri Hills, which is the best example, which is also called as the Uti of Telangana. So you have a better climate and better environment. And surprisingly, the distance from the ORR, if I take it, it is just a 55 minutes drive, which is like a 48.5 kilometers from site to the upper junction. So from there, the Gachwali is around 13 minutes away, and the airport is 18 minutes away. So to be connecting to the Hyderabad outer ring road, this is just a journey of 1 hour from the site to the Vora. I mean, connecting to the main hub. So, and if you see the site context, the forest I was talking about, you can see the lush green all around it, and the sun path, the site is more of oriented, it is more of rectangle, and at the same time the sun path you can see, so that I got really exposure for all the plots facing the sun and everything, the wind directions and everything I'm showing you on the other slide. And if I see the terrain, it is wonderful hilly terrain. That is the reason it is being named as Rhythm of the Hills. So it has nice contours. You can really see the typical Hyderabadi kind of, if you see the old Jubilee areas and everything, where we used to have nice roads and steep valleys, and you will have nice viewpoints, and every house has its own viewpoint because of the terrain what we have. So the lighter part shows the higher elevation, and the darker green shows the lowest elevation. And the next, so we started with the strategical planning, the conceptual strategy, how I really wanted to develop the self-sustainable lifestyle here. So here we, on a broader level, we divided that into like the housing part, and work area, the play areas, the learning areas, healthcare, and everything. So we made the journey. So first, I wanted to protect this site. I mean to say, though there is a urban forestry is there on one side, the other sides also, I wanted to develop a Miyawaki concept forest kind of thing. It's like a thick jungle. So the Miyawaki thing is something a Japanese scientist who has established the system, and now our governments are also really taking care of it and developing a dense ecosystem in smaller plots also. Now, being such a big site, we have almost like 150 acres now it is extending to. So in this site, so the dense buffer, which really creates my forest all around me. So in this Miyawaki concept, we identify the local foliage of this particular area, like the Deccan Plateau. So in this, we identify the local foliage, and we develop the nursery and everything. So in a span of 1.5 to 3 years, so this is going to grow like more than 35, 40 feet height, and being the local foliage, so we need not worry about it or treating it or like any exotic landscape we develop in urban context. So this forest will take care of itself like any other forest anywhere on this planet. So human beings really need not intervene into it for its growth. So there is a reason we chose the Miyawaki. And the byproducts of the forest also we are trying to use in this system again. And if you see the regenerating landscapes we try to develop, and the housing part we are trying to connect each and every house onto the regenerating landscapes, which really boost the quality of life here. And entrance pavilion is on the right and top corner, and the center pavilion in the middle corner. So we are trying to make the trespassing the connectivity between this community to the others is just being buffered at the entrance pavilion itself. So here we are trying to recommend something called as a carpool. So all the fossil fuel burning vehicles, we are saying we'll have a parking kind of thing. So from where again our own vehicles, like if you have your electrical car or a buggy, electrical renewable energy kind of transport system, or you cycle, or you take a wonderful walk on the streetscape. I'm going to show in the next slides how we are going to walk around. So the carpool is a buffer where I want to keep the complete my community out of the pollution. So that is how we are cutting it down at the entrance itself. So in the entrance pavilion, that has its own importance of it. And the central pavilion is going to be like a heart of the total design, where all the facilities of the inner the community people are going to use within this area. And based on the contours, we have identified a space where all the water will be collected there, and that is going to be the water source. And the water frontage, I'm going to use that water promenade I'm going to create for a nice housing and everything. I'm going to show it in the next things. And we also identified a few nodes where we are going to create some renewable energies like solar, wind, or the things. So it is basically the idea of mine is to make it as much as possible off the grid lifestyle. So off the grid from the main dense areas. So a future ready township, you can call it as, and where a person can live comfortably without missing anything from the cities, the highly dense, I also call it as highly polluted areas. So a system where I'm going to cut it at the entrance pavilion, and I'm trying to secure it with a Miyawaki forest and all the things. In the next slide, if you take the plotting. So the plotting, we are trying to minimize the neighboring adjustment. Like if you see it here, the roads are paved, and the entrances, what you see, the red line portion, what you're seeing in the section also explains to you, where the plot and the roads are being elevated, and then there is something called as a turf into which my rainwater and everything is going to flow into, and I'm trying to develop a Miyawaki forest and into those areas also. Like I'm trying to create an environment where you really live in woods. So the plot is the housing site is surrounded by totally good lush green, where the house is in the middle of the woods. And the walkways, so the entries are totally hidden, and the house is not directly exposed onto the road. So it is like hide and seek kind of thing, where you'll be entering from the main road through a passage into the plot. So that is how the micro level plotting is being done for the layout. And the water promenade, the frontage, we have taken few Google Earth images from this is one part of US. So where they really have that luxury of having a jetty, and that is really the house is connected to water body, and they can really have a great time staying near to the water, and the connectivity of the water system also into the house and all. And the lush green, what the areas you are seeing, the plots there are really meant to be for good amount of avenue plantation, which really grow like a forest. So the layout is something like this, which really inspired us. And the streetscape, the just I was trying to tell you, the house is hidden a bit inside, and the street. So basically, I want to encourage a person to walk, enjoy his pathway from the carpool, the central, the entry pavilion to his house. Either you cycle, you walk, or you take it, like, so everything is like you're walking into a infinity woods. So that is how we wanted to create this kind of lush green on the other sides of the street. Then the house size. So we worked out like how a house should be placed, and what should be the size of the house, and what should be the minimum setback from the neighbor, and how I should keep this like really private, and you have the feel of having a house in the middle of the woods. And so for that, we decided to not to extend the ground cover more than 30% of the plot. And we tried it, and in the last slides I'm going to show you the house also, where we are able to do it in just 15% of the ground cover. So this is a basic conceptual strategy, how we started from micro to the macro level, and macro to this one. So, and we are trying to use the local material for the house. And it is not like I am trying to minimize the usage of cement and other really making a big carbon footprint, because 8% of the pollution is being added with just a cement industry. So I really want to go against it, and I want to make the house very comfortable one. And these cement plastered walls are really the heat catches, especially for the summers. And the houses are becoming very warm, heated up like oven. And the air conditioning, this kind of one related to the other, it's like a chain. So we are trying to take the inspiration from the old houses, how those houses really give the comfortable temperature inside the house, to reduce the usage of air conditioning and all, and the cross ventilations and everything. So, and next, the food requirement. So for the food requirement, we broadly divided this. So this is a chart in the middle. This is given by Government of India. So the major percentage of the millets, if you see there, and fruits and vegetables is on the other side of the off, and some cereal seeds and pulses, poultry and meat, and the fat is one item, and then the milk and dairy products. So to make it a self-sustained. So here the major challenge has come to us. Uh, so the vegetable content and fruits and all those things uh, can be developed within their plot itself. So we are showing a way, like for your food requirement and everything. So your plot is really a good enough size to feed you entire year. So that is how one can develop a permaculture within their site in the 200 square yards. The dairy products and everything, we are trying to have a common goshala from which the dairy products are being addressed. And then some of the byproducts from the Miyawaki forest also, say for the tamarind, if you take, such kind of bigger trees we really can't grow in the plot. So I'm going to making few examples. So we also identified what really we can take it from the forest, what we develop on the periphery of our project. And then we are also trying to propose something called as food bank. So there are, though we are trying utmost to address all the food needs of one family living there, but some of the products we really can't generate within the community. So say for example, a salt. So salt really can't be taken it from the inside. say for the fishes. So there are a couple of items like that. So we are trying to connect this particular food bank with a few societies which are really doing organic farming, natural farming kind of system, and who are really working very hard for the last 3-4 decades in generating good awareness in the society and giving a nutritious food for the Indian context. So a few example, like if you take Timbuktu Collective or the Development Society kind of things. So the food bank is going to maintain a balance between which can't be generated, and at the same time the millets are cannot be happen within the community. So these things can be taken from the Development Society, for example. So we are trying to connect with the outside world, like if you calculate a family versus, again, every family of size 5 definitely require a size of 1.5 acre of millet farming to feed the family of size 5. So that is going to happen on the outside world, and this food bank is going to act like a bridge between these two. So within the site, with the permaculture and the goshala in the community, and the Miyawaki forest, the forest products, and the vegetables, fruits, and everything will be coming from your permaculture itself. So that is how we are trying to create a food chain there itself, so that the community need not be totally dependent on the outside, or the uh, only the things which we really can't generate. For that, we are trying to link up with good organizations and the work. So now it is like remote work, work from home, whatever we are calling it. So here, though you have a place for you in the house design, I'm going to show you. So which can really have your thing, but at the same time, in the central pavilion, we are creating a small studios kind of thing, which have a nice space really connected to the greenery, and from your studio you will be looking at good landscape, and you have washroom over there, and these studios are from the house. I want a person can cycle to your studio where you can work, and you're connected to the main hub in the city or somewhere else in the world. And this community is going to have high-speed internet connectivity. So with that, you will be connected. And if you want to work, your colleagues can come there, and they can you can have a group work there. And if you want to have a client meeting or something else in the same studio, you can have your meetings, and you can have small conference rooms there. So you need not have to run from the from this place to the city or somewhere else every day to day. So if your work condition can run, and if you are looking for a working environment in the middle of the lush green, so then this is the right place. Like we are trying to create work studios, and for the kids. So the online education, as the time goes, we are seriously looking at the thing, like the education system. Most of it may take that, like if both the parents are working, so the kid may not be able to study at home. So for that, we are trying to create something called as e-school. So where the kid will have a assistance there for a person there, uh, and the content will be from the school you subscribe to, but there will be a person to take care of the kid in the schooling time. So the kid also can move to the school, and working parents can go to the work studios, and the house again is supporting it, the same system as well. And culture and creative. So this is what really we took the grassroots from our say from our 3-4 decades back kind of system. So here, different aspects, like if you take carpentry, if you take pottery, dance, drama, or art, or anything. So these cultural things, which are part of our culture and everything. So I'm not looking at something like a person is interested and go there to some other place or something. So if a system is happening just around us, so whoever is interested, they can take the classes there. They can learn any of those skills. They can make their hobbies, or it can be your lifestyle forever. So a kid is growing, like if he's looking at the pottery, if he's really interested in that, so the kid can like develop a skill set, even a elderly person. So, somebody maybe is in his busy life today to the context, so he may not be going to one particular place to learn some music or something else. So for all the age groups, so we are trying to recommend something like cultural art studios. So this is a place where we are going to build this kind of identifying all these things, and people living there can see them day to day, learn, and make them like hobbies or remember as their life itself. So somebody can opt it as a profession itself. So it is not just that you have to go with the textbook or something else. So everything is a learning that was there in the olden days, which really created entrepreneurs from the system rather than like employee all the time. So so for this kind of system, we are trying to put it, they trying to keep it very handy, and day to day you will be looking at all these things. And next system is like we are going to create a incubation center. So incubation center is like you're really connected to entire world. So this kind of incubation center is happening in all developed countries in the world. So we identified few things like from coming years. So the new material, the culture, science and technology, biotechnology, clean and green energy, artificial intelligence. So this kind of things are really going to be the future. So the incubation center, we are really going to facilitate you to adapt a system. Say for example, for me being an architect, I really want to use artificial intelligence to make my designs much better, and to sell something to my clients. So probably I can really involve in it, and a R&D kind of thing in identifying the new materials. So this is an incubation center. So the system, the self-sustainable system, is going to give you everything what is required. Your home to the local context, your work studios, your e-school, and to the cultural and heritage things in the incubation center. And apart from this, we have this sports facility and the primary health center there. So we are trying to incorporate everything, everything what really one sustainable system should have. And then when you see the master plan here, so the next thing. So this is how from the strategical planning we develop the thing. Like the plotting, we try to keep it in the orientation of north to south running roads, and the sun paths really moving, so that all the plots have the entries from east and west, and there is a entry pavilion and this central pavilion. So the facilities like the thing like food courts, like a food bank, I would like how to say, the like work studios and everything, the carpooling areas and everything are being accommodated in the central pavilion, in the entry pavilion, and in the central pavilion, the other facilities, which is like the heart of the total community. So the internal usage spaces, we try to keep it in the central pavilion zone, and there are resonating landscapes, and every house is less connected to the neighboring plot, and at the same time they are being slightly recessed, and the paths are not like every house is being directly exposed. So every house is being taken care that it is in the middle of the woods, and the Miyawaki forest, which runs all around the layout. And there is a waterfront promenade, so onto which again the housing development is also being planned on this thing. So this is approximately area of 150 acres, and then the plotting we are looking at around 400 units of 200 square yard size. So that is how we started our designing. And the house. So the house plan. So this is a house of the size approximately 2,500 SFT. Again, the grassroots levels we have taken from the courtyard house, and to the latest context. So that is how we try to design it. So if you see the house, so there is one which is like an entrance veranda. So from the veranda, you have the on outdoor unit, shaded kind of drawing room, which acts like informal drawing room, you can say it as. So the number 2 is the entrance foyer, from which number 3 is again, it is like a drawing room, and as well as it can be converted into a studio, like again your workspace. So where where there is a possibility to have a separate entry into if you convert it into your workspace, so there will be another entry. The visitor need not come into the house. Probably they can take the second door in the northeast corner of that drawing room, and they can enter into the house, enter into the studio. And one bedroom, which is one we try to connect it to the house, and it has a toilet, and the master bedroom, which is totally a private area, and we are trying to connect this house and the toilet. These things are directly connected into a private courtyard, which is number 10. So this private courtyard again has a deck space and a bigger area. So this is a private zone. So a person can spend time in the bedroom and in the courtyard area, which is totally private. And the toilet is also overlooking onto the landscape. And if somebody is interested, they can have a outdoor toilet also there. And so on the other side, there's a dining, and there's a kitchen, service kitchen, you can say. The serving kitchen, which is number 12, which acts like a pantry once again. And there's a store. So all the food, what we are growing here in the storage of food grains and everything. The number 13 is the store. And 14 is again a space which is overlooking at the central courtyard. And the 5, there is a living space, and also can be converted into a bedroom. So we were trying to minimize the ground footprint. So that is the reason I'm trying to keep it like a flexible plan, where the master will be there, and if he has elderly parents, probably that living space can be converted into a makeshift bedroom, and the 3 will become the living space for them. So I kept the 3 and 5 as the flexible for the customized usage of the end user. And the passage, and it is connected to a lotus pond, the 16, and it is connected to the 15, the central courtyard. And the linear is the working veranda, I would like to say that. So with the outdoor spaces, like I actually wanted to create start from the central courtyard house, the house plan running all around it, which is not to the current lifestyle and the current context. So we try to create the partially indoor spaces and partially shaded and totally outdoor. So we try to develop a connectivity between these 3 phases, so that from 5 living, you have a buffer space, and then water lily lotus pond, a small Kerala boat as a atrophied, and then looking at a focal tree. Either it is a shaded tree or a focal tree. So all the activities which are really going to run like. So the 14, if you see it on the eastern side, so that is actually the hobby space, or you're having a permaculture and you have a space to relax there. And at the same time, it is also a chilling space. Like if you're having a party at home, and again the entry is directly given from the northeast corner. There I'm trying to show a few steps, and the person will be entering into the courtyard. And this east veranda is going to act like a workspace, a multi-purpose kind of thing, like the indoor space in the 5. So the 14 is going to act like a informal drawing space. So that is how all the spaces we are trying to connect to the central courtyard. So taking the grassroots from the age-old courtyard houses, so we are trying to develop the plans to the new context. And at the same time, a fully private master suite kind of thing in the southwest zone. So again, from the 5, I'm trying to create the woods all around your plot. So for that, I created a bay window kind of thing, from where you can really see the rain or the growing foliage around, the change of colors around, the real dynamism of landscape. And for the drawing room, again, we are directly having the north lighting from a bigger opening, and we try to create a cross ventilation for each and every room in the house. And we are trying to create a frame kind of thing. If you open the main door at 2, and you will be directly looking at a frame and a focal tree on the again a southeast, a small courtyard for the master bedroom. So everywhere we are trying to create the pictorial frames, and the picture is really changing with the changing seasons, the changing foliage, the landscape, everything that is happening all around you. So there is a good cross ventilation for each and every room. If you take the master bedroom, if you take the dining area, if you take the living, the drawing area, and everything has a good cross ventilation to minimize the usage of the electricity, the energy. So we are trying to keep up to the minimum usage of air conditioning, usage of fans, or the artificial lights and everything. So every space is going to have ample light. I don't want the end user to use a light to use any space in this house. So that is how we try to create the design. So to the context. So the inspiration again is from the past only. And if you take the first floor, so in that the staircase is launching at the lobby space, where it can be like a pantry space again for the first floor. And I'm trying to recommend 2 bedrooms on that. Or otherwise, if somebody has a requirement to use it as a media room, or if they want to change it to some other space which to their customize. So I kept the swings open in these areas, and they are all connected to the covered terraces on 4. So on looking at our own courtyard, I created on the eastern side, and one is on the northern side. So which really opens up onto the landscape on the woods on northwest of that terrace, and one is overlooking onto our own permaculture garden and our landscape, and on a backdrop of Miyawaki forest. And the looking at our own courtyard here. And with this size, the next model, what we are thinking is keeping it as a base and having the satellite suits. Like we are the next size, if somebody has a bigger family and a bigger footage requirement. So I really not looking at increasing the size as it is, not to lose the space on the ground. So for that, if somebody wanted a bigger plot and bigger thing, so for that we are trying to design which are not incorporated here. So we are developing suits of each of 600 SFT size. So the main house is here, which again many of you might have experienced it in Bali and other resorts, where you have different private suites. Say a friend's family came for like a party here, and they want to stay overnight here, so they can use the suits there. Or the same family, the sons can occupy 2 3 suits kind of thing. So for that, 1 or 2 suits can be added as like a satellite, and the main common the dining and the common interaction space happens in the courtyard. So we are not just simply extending it like that. We're trying to keep the connecting satellites to the main base. So there is a next development which we can see it in our next meeting. So this is how we started our project, and the once upon a story, how I have taken the inspiration from our past, the food requirement, the working style, the cultural activity, the art form, and if you take the health requirement, if you take the sports, if you take work studio, everything. Like so, from everything, we are trying to create it like you can comfortably live in this master plan, where we are trying to address each and every aspect of it. Um, and with a less carbon footprint and a really a comfortable house and expandable house if you want, and which really address all the needs of our lifestyle. So this is how I wanted to create a self-sustainable lifestyle. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Ravi Kumangaru. That was an amazing presentation. Every time we listened to you, you managed to just sweep us off our feet. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Right.